everybody. Very warm welcome to Amazing You podcast and YouTube channels. And a huge thank you to all the subscribers, the viewers, and if you are new, very warm welcome to you as well. And today, this podcast is a very special podcast. And the podcast, the Amazing You podcast, it's where everybody, all the guests come and share their stories of resilience, triumph, and unwavering hope. So please join me today, everyone, for this very special episode with two amazing guests that I've got, and I will introduce you to them very soon. So I am your host. My name is Dr. Rani Thanacoody. I am a clinical hypnotherapist using rapid transformational therapy method. I am a Mars, Venus, life and relationship coach, astrologer, tarot reader, and life force compassion practitioner. And today, I have the immense pleasure to introduce you to two ladies that I've been waiting for a long time to speak to them. I've been on their podcast. So the two ladies, the first one is Lenka Koppova, and Lenka is a marketing therapist for health and well-being professionals. And Lenka is a marketing mindset coach, more specifically, and a social media marketing strategist and trainer. And she works mostly with coaches, healers, and other health and well-being, as well as wellness professionals. And Natalie King is a confidence and resilience coach. Natalie is a coach, teacher, and guide, and she works with both men and women to help them connect with their inner superheroes, teaching them the skills to have confidence and resilience to be their true selves. So welcome, Lenka and Natalie, to Amazing You podcast.
Thank you so much for having us.
Oh, just so wonderful to be here with you. So thank you.
You are very welcome. It is the first time on the podcast that I will interview two guests at the same time. So this is new. This is a great challenge for me.
Exciting. It's always fun to do something new.
Oh, yes, it is. It is. So, ladies, I will ask Natalie that question and then Lenka can intervene. I know that you've got both of you a podcast together that is called Into Your Life podcast. So would you tell us, how did you decide, when did that idea, or how did that story of coming together and having a podcast, if you would share with us?
So Lenka and I, we've known each other for a good few years, because even though Lenka is now living in the Czech Republic, she actually used to live down the road from where I am, which was in Cambridge. And we met through networking, and like I said, we've known each other for years. And then life goes on and you sort of know people are there, but we weren't really hugely in contact with each other. And then Lenka reached out to me, I think it was in either the end of 2020 or beginning of 2021, because I did a neuroscience course and she asked me where I did it and for information. And we just ended up talking, and we ended up talking twice a month, just going on to Zoom and having random, really weird conversations about books, about neuroscience, about life, about whatever was on our minds. And I then approached and said, why don't we record these conversations? Lenka got a bit quiet for a while. But after a while, I think after thinking about it, she said, yeah. So that's how the podcast grew. It was just through our conversations. And we started that I think it was March 2022. So we've been going for over 2 years. And it's just been conversations between us. And then we said, well, why don't we have guests? And it's just grown from that. We've met some amazing people. We've had you on our podcast. And it's grown from that. And it's just having conversations and that's essentially how it's developed.
And would you like to add something, Lenka?
Yeah, I think Natalie summed it up really nicely. We knew each other and we loved having these conversations, and we were like, well, maybe there will be some people who would enjoy those conversations as well and who would find them insightful. So we really were like not thinking about making the podcast a big deal. We were not really having like any goals for the podcast other than we want to enjoy ourselves, and if anyone wants to listen and if those conversations can help to someone, then that would be awesome. If not, then we still enjoy them, we still get something from it, and that's it. And yeah, as Natalie said, since then the podcast grew. We are now not only having a podcast, we have a YouTube channel, we have a newsletter, we have wonderful guests, but still we are good friends. It really brought us closer. We started hanging out a lot more. We see each other in person a bit more. Even when I'm living abroad, we intentionally make time for each other. So I think it even brought us closer and created a wonderful bond between us. And that's probably one of the things I love the most about what this podcast has done for me personally.
Thank you. Thank you. That's beautiful to see that, to see collaboration and to see the power of networking. You never know when you network where that will take you, the opportunities that will come. So can Lenka share with us about the power of networking in your life, how that has, other than, to help the audience to understand how powerful it is, because out of that came this beautiful collaboration.
Networking and me, we have an interesting relationship. So I would always say that I'm an introvert, even though recently I might have been relabeling myself as more of an ambivert. But for a very, very, very long time, I was an introvert. I was really shy, very uncomfortable going to a room full of strangers. And yet, when you start a business, you have to. When you live in a strange city, you move around, you start a new career, you have to network, you have to go out. So I really put my big girl pants on and went to one networking event. It was lovely. And I needed a lift back to Cambridge because it was somewhere in the middle of nowhere for some reason. And it was this lovely older gentleman offering me a ride home. And we started talking, and then I bumped into him in another networking event and in another networking event. So I kind of started stalking him because he made me so safe. And I knew that whenever the room would become too overwhelming, talking to strangers, I will feel anxious. I could always go and say, "Hi, Jim, how are you? Thank you for being here." We would have a moment of connection, and then I would go on networking. So that's how I started. And from there, I really realized that networking is just about listening. And I could get on board with that. I really struggled with the idea of networking being about me and, having to elevator pitch and having to sell myself and having to present myself. But the moment I really realized that at the core of networking, it's listening. It is about them, about the people you're meeting. And even if you don't get to talk about yourself at all, you only ask questions and you only listen. You just let people to talk about whatever they want to talk about. They will remember you. They will really realize that you have made them feel good, you allow them to talk about themselves. And one of my top sayings that I learned about networking is to be interesting, to be interested. So if you want to be remembered as someone who is very interesting, then be interested in other people, and it's just somehow going to happen.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Lenka, for sharing that. And any words that you would like to add about networking, Natalie, the power of networking for you?
Yeah, networking is very powerful. And for me, networking has helped me to speak, has helped me to learn to build relationships, has helped me to just communicate or connect with others, because like Lenka, but I'm more extreme. I call myself actually an extreme introvert, or an introvert. And for me, I lost all my confidence. I lost all my own personal power, and I was coming from a very bad place. And as Lenka said, when you start a business, you have to network. So it was, okay, I've got to do this thing, which I don't want to do. I was literally pushed, kicking and screaming, and pushed to do it. And through that, it's helped me to come out of my comfort zone. It's helped me to learn to listen as well. Like Lenka says, that is important. But it's also helped me to find a way to connect with other people, especially also people who I don't necessarily have anything in common with. There's business owners that you meet who their business is not something you would connect with. It's not relevant to you, but you can still connect to the person, to the human behind the business. And it's finding ways that you can use those relationships to help. So through meeting somebody, you might not use their business, but you get to know that person, and means you can maybe speak to somebody else about that person or their business. So it's learning to not just have a relationship for the sake of having a relationship, but actually just building connections that you can one day maybe help them get a client or something. So it's a very intricate or delicate dance that you do when you network. And when you do it over time, you do build these relationships. And I still occasionally meet people that I met 13 and a half years ago at my first couple of meetings, and they say, I remember you at at the very first meeting you were at. And they see your journey, and they help to remind me of where I've come from and what I've done. Because you get those days where you think, oh, why do I bother? And then just connecting with people. So for me, it's about connecting and learning to communicate and learning to build relationships.
And just to add to what Natalie was talking about, it's over time, you really build incredible relationships. If you come to these events, and it does matter to what kind of networking event you go to, you have so many options, be it online or in person, but so many formats with, is there a talk? Is there a pitch? Is there a collaboration? Is there a discussion? So choosing the ones that feel right and feel good, I think, is very important. I always like the ones with food. I always like the one where there was a free breakfast, there was a free lunch, there was a free dinner. That was my thing. Starting business, you're trying to save money. So going to wherever there is a free food was my thing. But it also is a lot more, at least for me, casual way of talking to people. You're eating, you have something else you can pay attention to, you get a small talk. And coming back on a regular basis to these events, so you get to deepen those relationships. It's not just someone you see once and never speak with. It's the showing up regularly to these events, seeing people at different events, connecting with them on social media, setting up Zoom calls, or in a day of actually meeting people in person, setting up coffee chats, and going out together and doing stuff together. Because as Natalie said, I have still 7-8 years on, now I have new business opportunities with people I have met 7-8 years ago. Back then, maybe we were not in the right place to really have a business relationship. We just knew each other, we were friends, we were connections, we stayed somehow in touch. But out of nowhere, 7-8 whatever years later, someone comes, hey, I've been watching you, we know each other, I really think I need you right now. You can help my business. Shall we talk? So or you just get people be like, hey, we have a family house in France. Don't you want to come for a couple weeks to just hang out with us and live with us and work with us? You never know what can happen if you genuinely just connect to other fellow human beings.
Thank you, Lenka and Natalie. I love what you shared. It's so how this connection, how networking has been powerful in your life, because I was like Natalie, I was like Lenka, I was very shy at some point in my life. I hated networking, to be honest with you. I couldn't understand because the places I was going with the job that I was doing, people didn't really connect with you if you don't have, let's say, to write a paper, or if you don't know them already from another network. But when I started my business, I started networking with businesses, with business people, and it's so different. They are more open-minded, and I have learned so much, even if we had nothing in common after the networking event. But what I have learned from just meeting different people has been life-changing. I have learned so much about myself, because everybody is here to teach us something about us, We always grow in ourselves. So this has been really life-changing, the power of networking. And thank you for sharing that. And my question to you, Natalie is a confidence and resilience coach, and Lenka work with, though you are in marketing, but you work in the wellness, with the wellness industry, wellness professionals. So what would you say, Lenka, for individuals today who are listening and who are watching you, who are facing some tough times? What steps or advice would you offer them to eventually overcome adversity?
Yeah, that's a big question. that's always, there's so many, aspects and elements and contexts that we could look at. But I think for me, and I think that's what we do with the podcast, is to put yourself first and to listen to yourself. Because when we go through difficult moments, when we're facing adversity, there will be people telling us what we should be doing and what we should be feeling and what we should be focusing on. And there will be so much pressure coming from the outside, and we often add extra pressure on ourselves. So one of my advice to myself and to others would always be, stop shooting all over yourself. Stop listening to all the beliefs that you have that you should be, because other people tell you you should be feeling like this and you should be doing like that. Take a moment to pause and slow down and reconnect with yourself and to listen. What really matters to me? What really is valuable to me? Why is this thing, bothering me? Is it a challenge? Is it something that just the society, the culture, the environment is telling me that it should be challenged? I should want that and I should be pushing myself for that. Is it something I genuinely want to accomplish? Because this perspective of understanding why we're doing what we're doing can really help a lot of perspective. And as we saw on the podcast, putting your life first, to realize that at the end of the day, we only have one health, one life. So lots of the challenges that we may be facing in business, with finances, with clients, with marketing, with all sorts of things, are actually, like, yes, they feel big and important, and sometimes it could be, but at the end of the day, nothing matters as much as our own health and well-being. And that's why put yourself first, like really allow yourself to put yourself, your own life, your own health and well-being, your family first. And surprisingly, the more boundaries you create and the more limits you give yourself to how much time and effort you can spend on things like business, the more productive and the more focused and the more smart you're going to work. So actually, things are going to work out.
Thank you, Lenka. And Natalie, what would you say? And you are a resilience coach, a confidence coach. What advice would you share with the audience?
So for me, is very much is know what it is that you want and know who you are. Because as Lenka said, there's all that shoulding, and we often talk about that shoulding all over yourself. I picked that up from Lenka. And there's so much advice out there. You should do this, you should do that, you should be like this, you should be like that. And it can get so overwhelming. But if you really know what it is that you want and who you are, then you start to know which direction you want to go into, what you want to do, and it can help you. It can help also put those boundaries in place, like Lenka spoke about. It's about really doing and creating that life that you want. Just because we're told that we should be doing X, Y, and Z doesn't mean that we should be doing X, Y, and Z. And it is about really being the human. Take your humanness and be human. Find a way to create something that you feel joy in, you feel that there's a purpose, you feel that you can deal with it, that you can cope with it. And I'll give an example is I find social media a very noisy and overwhelming place, and I'm pretty much off social media. But I love YouTube. I love creating videos. So that's where I put my energy, is finding that. And I'm told, yeah, but you should be on TikTok, you should be on Instagram, you should be on Facebook, you should be here, you should be there. Why? Why should I be there if it doesn't resonate with me? If I'm finding it overwhelming and difficult, then what it means is it's going to stress me out, and then I'm not going to put that effort in. So it's finding a path, because it's not a one size fits all life. It's not a one size fits all in business. It's finding your size and find what works for you. Try something. If it doesn't work, try something else. There are so many different ways of doing things. You can't do them all and feel that you have some time to sleep and eat and rest. If you're not doing those, then you just basically like a hamster on a wheel going round and round. And if you don't know who you are or what you want, you're going to be that hamster on the wheel. So it's really learn about yourself, reconnect with your own identity, reconnect with who you are, and find ways that work for you. Find your boundaries, find just the way that you want to be working, and then start to put things in place to help you. And with doing that, you actually find that your resilience and your confidence grows, and it helps with that. So my advice is very much is reconnect with the little human that's in you, reconnect, and really start to think, how do you want to be living your days? Not when you retire, not in 5 years. Now, how do you want to live your days? Do you want to be a hamster on a wheel? Go ahead, be the hamster on the wheel. If you want to start work at 10 o'clock because you get up and you meditate and you have your cup of coffee and you like to take it slow, then do that. Yeah, we all have the freedom and the choice to do it. So find your way and reconnect with who you are.
Wow, that is so powerful, both of you, Natalie and Lenka. My God, building that connection with ourselves is so important, because we've been so disconnected with who we are. So it's about now connecting to ourselves. That's where we find all the treasures within us. It's not outside. Yeah. Beautiful ladies. Thank you. And we are coming to a close, to the end of the podcast. I know time flies. There's so much to talk about. And my last question to both of you: how can the listeners connect with you and learn more about your work, Lenka? And the same will be for Natalie after that. Yeah.
So I do work in marketing. So even though I do also have a bit of a love-hate relationship with social media, I am on social media. You will mostly find me on LinkedIn, but I also do have Instagram, which is a bit more for my life. It's more of a documenting just my lifestyle. So for professional stuff, if you want marketing advice and business stuff, then LinkedIn, just search for my name, Lenka Koppova, Koppova. That's my name, or search for marketing therapist. There's not that many of us out there just yet. Or search on Instagram for Lenka Kopp. But also, I would encourage your listeners, you've mentioned it before, check out our podcast, Into Your Life podcast, because we have wonderful guests, wonderful conversations. It's not really about us. It is about the amazing people like yourself who come and genuinely, openly share so much of themselves with us. It is pretty kick-ass, the content that we get. It's so insightful, so inspiring.
Thank you. It is a beautiful podcast, and really encourage the audience to go and listen to the podcast. And you, Natalie, how can the listeners connect with you and learn about what you do?
So mine is through my website, Natalie King Coaching, and YouTube. I have the Confidence and Resilience I think Confidence and Resilience with Natalie on YouTube. And those are my main places that you can connect with me and find me. I am on LinkedIn, but I'm not active on LinkedIn. So if you want to send me a message, I am still on LinkedIn, but I'm not, as I said, active. And I just find that creating videos is one of the best ways that you get to know me. And of course, as Lenka said, our podcast. We have the Spotify, just the speaking, but we also have the videos, and that is where you can get to know us. You get to know us through our mannerisms, through our way we speak, and just listen to some amazing guests to help you to find ways that you can just have more life in one's life.
Thank you so much, Natalie and Lenka, for this beautiful connection today. Lenka is in the Czech Republic and Natalie is in the UK, so it's really beautiful to have that today, both of you together. And a huge thank you for taking your time to be on the podcast, for sharing your wisdom, and I wish you both a lot of success. And
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And thank you to the audience for watching, for sharing and subscribing. And remember that you are amazing. You have always been amazing. And you always will be amazing, everybody. Lots of love to all of you.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.